A line from a famous George Orwell story, 1984, about living under the surveillance state says, if you want to keep a secret, you better hide it from yourself. Today I will inform you about the NSA's intelligence gathering operations to see if they are striking a balance between security and liberty. This information is important to you because we are living in an ever more digital world. I myself am a connected person, and I have also done the research on what happens to the data that I create. Today I will inform you about what the NSA does, how they are overstepping their authority, and whether or not what they're doing is legal under the Constitution. The first issue I'm going to talk about today is what the NSA does. What the NSA does is a two-pronged mission. The two areas critical to it are information assurance and signals intelligence. The information assurance is what they do is that's how they protect our data, our government's secret classified data from foreigners. The signals intelligence gathers, processes, and disseminates intelligence that they gather from foreign signals to monitor the terrorists. They use this information to catch terrorists to do before they do any harm. They do this by monitoring and collecting foreign data from cell phones, emails, websites, and any other signal that they can break. Any suspected terrorists are then chained together, which forms a link. Then they are monitored and connections are established, and that helps them identify who is a possible national security threat. The intelligence gathered is then disseminated between the FBI, the CIA, and other law enforcement agencies so they can follow those people more closely. And the ultimate mission of the NSA is to thwart terrorism. In an article written by Dan Roberts for TheGuardian.com, he quoted John Kerry saying, "After the 9/11 attacks, we are dealing with a new world where people are willing to blow themselves up. There are countless examples," and goes on to say, "We have prevented airplanes from going down and buildings from being blown up because we learned ahead of time of such plans." Mr. Kerry also stated the importance of the NSA and the good work that they do to help secure us from harm, and he admits that our personal liberty and our right to privacy is very important. So is the ability to gather information needed to prevent these acts of terrorism. The next step is how the NSA has overstepped their authority by breaking privacy laws. The intelligence connections that the NSA makes abroad often lead them back to the people in the United States, which is where they overstep their authorities. They are now collecting data on Americans, which is illegal under American privacy laws. In 2013, in an article in the Washington Post written by Barton Gellman, he says the NSA audit obtained by the Post, dated May 2012, counted 2,776 incidences in the preceding 12 months of unauthorized collection, storage, access to, or distribution of legally protected communications. This illustrates the number of incidences that were admitted to by the NSA themselves. Hard telling how much information is being gathered that they aren't admitting to. That leads us to believe that the NSA is now spying on Americans. Aaron Harrison, editor of the legal magazine Inside Counsel, wrote in an article in August 2013 that the government has failed to demonstrate that it has struck a reasonable balance between its foreign intelligence needs and the requirement that information concerning the United States persons be protected. This is further information that the NSA is going beyond what is needed to help keep us safe. The last area to talk about is whether the intelligence gatherings are legal under the Constitution. There is a line being crossed by the NSA. They've kind of adopted a by any means necessary approach to intelligence gathering, and that includes Americans. There is some give and take, however, on between liberty and security, and where they have gone now kind of looks to be illegal. The NSA has rules and regulations and laws that they have to follow, and they've recently been breaking them. An example of the conundrum they find themselves in an essay written by then NSA Director Michael Hayden for the Notre Dame Journal in 2005 says, "What is the right balance between security and liberty? The question is fixed in the national consciousness as the country faces unprecedented terrorist threats." Mr. Hayden then knew that there was a balance between security and liberty and what was needed to keep our country safe from harm. The Fourth Amendment in the United States Constitution is what protects us legally from prying eyes of an invasive government. The Fourth Amendment says, "The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized." Pretty clear that the NSA has no right to our private information without probable cause or a search warrant issued by a judge. Seems to me the NSA has lost sight of the laws it was supposed to follow when collecting the massive amounts of information that they collect. The NSA has huge data centers in Texas, Maryland, and a new one built in Utah that houses all the data that they collect from our personal information. And the fact that the NSA has been collecting data from American citizens has been trickling in the news over the last couple years. Attention has been drawn to it, but the new security documents that have been unveiled by Edward Snowden has brought an avalanche of information to the public. So, in conclusion, I hope you're now a little bit more informed about the NSA and what it does and the scope of their intelligence gathering operations. We've covered 3 areas about the NSA and what they do. First, we talked about how the NSA keeps us secure. Then we covered how the NSA has overstepped their authority, and then we talked about the legalities of it under the Constitution.